It is not a nice thing to call a lady an old bag, but I'm going to tell you about two old bags that need to shut up. Let's talk about that. Hey guys, as always, a big good to each of y'all. It's an ugly way to say it, but I'm going to tell you about two old bags that need to shut up, and I'm going to tell you why. It's a little bit comical, but it's also kind of where we're at. And I'm going to get you up to date on the Protecting Our Kids Act, and I'm going to name them by name, the 5 GOP morons that voted for it. They gave a yay for it, and one that abstained, and I'm calling that fishy as well. So buckle up, here we go right after the jump.
Here at Hidden Hybrid, we can make a holster for darn near anything.
How awesome is that holster? I absolutely love it. So big thank you to those folks. Big thank you to each of y'all. Appreciate you people. Thank you for every thumbs up. Y'all are awesome. Speaking of awesome possum, this one, I'm not supposed to wear it today. It's supposed to be for tomorrow. Literally hot off the press. I ran down to TriStar and got it a few minutes ago because I knew they were ready and I went and got one. This is for tomorrow. I love them. This is my new favorite ever. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm telling you, I love it. I'm wearing it the rest of the day and all day tomorrow. So how fun is that? All right. With the Matthew McConaughey thing yesterday, I had somebody go, why do we pay attention to them? Well, we don't. Y'all know that. Like, we know what category these idiots are in. But we also, it's good for us to pay attention because we can understand. It's kind of like a litmus test or figuring out which direction the wind is blowing, kind of feeling out our culture and where it is. I cannot suffer through more than 12 seconds of The View because it's a bunch of old bags yapping at each other. It is awful. However, and oh, do I love it. Joy Behar, who, never forget, she did brown face, but that's okay because she's a leftist. Yesterday, she said, I'll just play it for you. Listen to this.
Most AR-15 owners are former military,
Okay.
35 plus
Let me
and
say
married.
one more thing.
So that's all I'm saying is that they're not these crazy people.
Okay. Here's the thing. Once black people get guns in this country, the gun laws will change. Trust me.
That's what happened.
You can't make this stuff up. I absolutely love it. She's already under some flack for that. But the funny thing is, and off the chart, I want to say this very clearly. I'm not a big fan of identity anything. I can't stand it when I go on a podcast or something and they're just immediately, they're like, well, what do you think about this identity or that identity? The Second Amendment's for everybody. Everybody. Yes, there's a few exceptions, but every normal person, every regular person, absolutely. I don't want to do identity anything. You won't hear me rarely even engage that whole every gun law is racist. I think that's ridiculous as well. I know the history to it, but I don't like playing that game. However, Forbes did a really interesting article just recently and explaining a little bit about where we're at. Y'all know that the POC statistics have climbed incredibly in the last 2 years. But the entire idea that any one people group is not armed already, it's entertaining. I think it's worth following, and I think it's hilarious. And that old bag needs to shut up. Next. All right, speaking of an old bag, Nancy and the House yesterday, they voted on the Protecting Our Kids Act, and the vote was 223 to 204. And so that went through. Keep in mind, it now has to go to the Senate, and it's probably going to die in the Senate. However, it did pass the House yesterday. My question was how many GOP morons voted for it? And if y'all don't know, that there's a lot in that bill, but the big one is raising long guns up to 21, which is a fascinating idea that a young man or young woman could join the military, go through training, go overseas, fight for a full year, 2 years, come back, finish out their term, and still not be able to drink, smoke, or own a firearm. It's fascinating. It really is. It's super interesting. All right, here's the 5 that voted yes yesterday. They voted with the DNC. Fitzpatrick out of Pennsylvania, Gonzalez out of Ohio, Jacobs out of New York, shocking, Kinzinger out of Illinois, and Upton out of Michigan. Interestingly, Upton is old school money. Yes, I think it's Kate Upton's uncle, but that's old school money. The big one is Gonzalez, whose family, and it's on his main website, fled communist Cuba. You think if anybody understand the idea of not wanting the will of a government, enacting your life, it would be Gonzalez. Also, there is one, let me click it here, that was there but didn't vote, was Hollingsworth from Indiana. I don't know why on that one, but Indiana folks, you might be able to tell me about that. Now, the other old bag that needs to shut up. Nancy said this, speaking of the voters in the House, why would someone be against raising the age so that teenagers do not have an AK-47? There's only two things that can be at play here. There's only two. It can't be anything else. Either she honestly believes that writing words in books in Washington literally disarms teenagers. She ain't that dumb. She knows that. Or B, and this is reality, she knows that these laws only affect law-abiding middle Americans and that criminals are completely exempt from all of these laws. She knows that this is only about disarming middle America, and it is about nothing else. She knows. So she can play that game. She's an old bag that needs to shut up. Let me know down below what you think. Would love to hear from you. We'll be watching this stuff all week long and be here tomorrow on the Spicy Friday. To anyone that's against us or our rights to own whatever, however, whenever we want, whoever we want. I'll see you soon. Bye.